right, thank you everybody for joining us. Welcome back to Cup of Joe's, where you get your daily Cup of Joe from a couple of Joes. And today, even a Jason. Yay, let's clap it up.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, so every now and then we do have guests on our show. There is another episode that has not come out yet that you'll see that 2 Jasons are in. And that one's real fun. Yeah, it's real fun. We'll keep it as that. And you guys,
What we remember.
yeah, you'll see it soon. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. But cheers. Let's get into some sports as we always do for the first topic. All right. So, what the fuck are we talking about?
Do we want to bring up the that prediction or the GOAT of all sports?
Yes,
that this guy brought up.
Let's go ahead. Okay. So this is a baseball topic. I'm not a huge baseball fan. I know the game, but these guys are much bigger baseball fans than me.
So there was a video that went out and it got a ton of views, ton of likes. He went through all of the sports and their presumed GOATs: Mahomes, Brady, Tiger Woods, etc. Wayne Gretzky saying that the true GOAT of all sports is someone who has records that will never be touched. And his GOAT of all sports was Nolan Ryan. And it's sad that he had this take because I really like a lot of his videos.
Light.
That's like the worst backhanded compliment. It's sad because I really liked him until he proved how much of a fucking dumbass he was.
I didn't realize his prediction or who he thinks is the GOAT is my shirt works. That's just dumb.
That was on flight. I like that.
Okay, so again, as a person on the outside, I know a little bit about baseball. Nolan Ryan was an amazing pitcher, right?
Absolutely great.
Yep, amazing pitcher.
Best pitchers. I don't know he's the best pitcher of all time.
Didn't
Let
he-
alone the greatest of all time.
Yeah, didn't he continue to pitch a game after he broke his nose or some shit? It's like an iconic picture of him on a baseball card with him fucking bleeding from his nose.
Constantly fought everyone.
he was
No, he wouldn't. He was not a bitch. I will say that. Nolan Ryan was not a bitch.
Was it from a ball or from a fight?
Probably a fight. I'm like 95% sure it was a fight.
So he's done that. He's torn his UCL and then took a pitch after and threw it 98 just to see if he could still go. Threw it 98. This dude's a badass. Absolutely.
Okay, so legend. Yeah.
Legend. Absolutely.
Legend. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the GOAT of everything?
He's not the GOAT of baseball. He's certainly not the GOAT of everything. So here, this disqualifies this comment entirely. Okay. And it's just a simple statement. The Cy Young is awarded to the best pitcher in MLB.
Correct.
He never won a Cy Young, ever, in his entire career. You cannot be the GOAT of baseball.
Was that politics? It's because he's white.
Well, I mean,
I think he was pitching in the 80s, so
it was a little bit more diverse than the 60s.
Again, not huge bit.
he still had that privilege rolling for him back in the 80s. If you were not the best pitcher in 1 year, you are not allowed to be a GOAT of your sport or of all of sports for sure.
Again, it's called the Cy Young Award. So I think we just figured out who the best pitcher of all time is.
Cy Young.
Cy Young. Like,
Oh, but it's Cy Young holds the record for the most losses ever by a lot.
But wins? A lot of wins too?
yeah.
A lot of wins.
Long career.
Yeah.
I think Tommy John is a more important baseball pitcher than Nolan Ryan.
He's been fucking people's elbows up for hella days now. I don't know.
That dude just comes around and fucking breaks your elbow.
The elbow fairy.
That's awesome.
But the argument for Nolan Ryan is he has a ton of strikeouts, and that's great.
Ton of Ks.
Yeah, I think you can be dominant, but still not the greatest of all time. You can be the most dominant pitcher ever, but everything totaled up, you're...
Can I relate this to Shaquille O'Neal?
Absolutely.
Most dominant. Probably the most dominant player ever.
Ever, yeah.
Not greatest of all time.
Yep.
Steph Curry is. For all these fucking people that made me say LeBron was for 3 episodes trying to get the internet riled up. Fuck all that.
I don't know. I love that. Actually, I was seeing something on Reddit the other day about the value of teams, and like it's really the Steph Curry effect of like they went from like they're the second most valuable franchise.
Yeah, $235 million when Joe Lacob bought him. $3.8 billion right now, man.
It's
crazy.
dumb. I was like, I didn't think they'd be more valuable than like the Lakers or the Yankees.
Yeah.
It's like only the Cowboy, which is not sorry, Joey. I don't get it.
So you know what?
It's hard to get. It's hard to get.
Very easily manipulated, I feel like.
You know what's so funny is like you look at my teams. You look at my teams on there. You got the Cowboys. You have the Warriors, and then the fucking A's. Good God.
So attacked.
So they're both A's fans, which is nice.
Actually, my shirt is from
Yeah, from
Last Dive Bar is a company that makes shirts because I don't buy shit from the A's anymore because of the bullshit going on.
Yeah.
So I'll support them, and they're like a nonprofit that helps actually the city of Oakland. They did the Fan Fest yesterday, so like stuff like that.
Speaking of the Fan Fest yesterday, how the fuck was that?
That was actually really fun. Like, shout out to Last Dive Bar and the Oakland 68s. Those are the two companies that put it on. You had Rick Tittle and Casey Pratt were the MCs. Bunch of former players like Coco Crisp, Ben Grieve, Trevor May, freaking Grant Balfour was there. Some Balfour rage.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Like, sort of thing. Like, there was a shit ton of breweries out there that stepped up. It was just a cool community event to see. A reminder that it's not A's fans, and it's not fans in general that cause low attendance. It's usually the bullshit. And fuck John Fisher.
Fuck John Fisher.
Fuck him twice. But this was put on by the fans as well, right? It
Fans.
wasn't-
The A's have actually, if you go on social media, A's have blocked all comments on all their posts. You cannot comment on any Instagram, Twitter, nothing. It's just dumb. See, oh yeah. So, but it just, but the Fan Fest was really fun, really cool.
So
beautiful day.
bunch of breweries out there, bunch of vendors, bunch of
fun fucking time.
Yeah, a
good
bunch of
day,
old
good fun.
A's.
Old soul roots were out there. All the different local teams, like from Oakland, the Oakland Ballers. This is like a new minor league team out there. You know,
I heard about that.
fun.
I heard
It was
about
really
that.
fun, you know.
Got to be with the fans too, right?
Yep. Exactly.
How fucked up were you?
Well, they kind of questioned me when I bought 6 drink tickets at 10:30. No, it was 11:30. It was 11:30. And so I actually
Only
gave one
because
away.
it was his second round of 6 drink tickets.
No, I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait in line.
He's stumbling over asking for 6.
Oh, that's where it should have brought us a fucking cup. Drink out of that. That was fun.
Yeah, so shit like that is always fun. Like we've been to the Warriors parades. We've all watched championship wins together for the Warriors. Maybe that's the key. We all need to be together for this playoff run.
Or that Lacob could
Doing some.
buy the A's.
Yeah, well, he wants to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he wants to. That'd be really nice to have that happen.
I
But
think it's the hardest thing in sports to watch is the A's is a team that is very outward. We don't want to win. We purposely want to lose. We want no one to show up so that we can have an excuse to move. It's the most disgusting thing.
Real life Major League is the fucking best thing ever. Yeah.
except for they didn't win it all. They fucking lost it all.
Was that the Cleveland Indians?
Oh,
Now the Guardians.
whoa.
They thought like Cleveland Guardians.
Boom. Can we believe that, Zen?
We'll believe the Cleveland part.
That's gonna be fucking fun. All right, so we're gonna get into something that if you don't want to comment on, feel free not to. I mean, please don't get yourself in trouble. But I'm gonna be very not getting in trouble either. Dating after divorce.
What a turn.
Now, you have been divorced before.
Yes.
I have had a previous relationship that I was not married to, but divorced, and now I'm currently separated. And Joey has been divorced as well. So we're all a bunch of broken, I guess, piece of shit men. If you follow what the women say in our lives.
My kids love me.
he doesn't have any girls. All right. So, what was your experience?
All right, so
We've done the rules before about. So if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch that. There's great rules that Joey put out that he gave to me, also going through my separation too. So
absolutely. So that's getting through like the first part of divorce, and there's gonna be a lot more segments of how my divorce went and the life afterwards. But dating after divorce, I went back to someone I had dated in my past. That was the first dating experience that I had. She lived out of state. I flew out there, hung out, great time, reconnected. Didn't end up working between us. But
Did your ex know about this?
ex-wife,
Yeah.
she drew conclusions because
Well, she knows now.
yeah, so we were living in the same house after that too. So I left the house, bags packed, showed back up, bags in hand. So I mean, it was pretty clear that I did go out of state, and I think she drew conclusions to where I went. But in general, dating after divorce. So that's where I started, and I had to find like comfortability because I wasn't not okay because the divorce was not my choice. I was kind of blindsided by it. So like getting back into it was
Difficult.
scary, tough.
Yeah.
It was just like, fuck, I never thought I'd ever have to do this again. So I went to somewhere familiar, went back to an ex, and
We did some home pie.
yeah, sure. I guess that's one phrase.
You could use
No judgment.
keep going.
But after that, I'm a little bit different. I mean, I did date a lot. I went through the whole phase.
Yeah.
Dated a whole bunch.
We spoke about this.
Yes. But I wasn't looking to just go out and be a hoe. Like, the whole goal was like, all right, I want to just reset my life. I have my hopes, wants, dreams, and goals that I'm looking for. So I was looking for that person, but then just, red flags would come up, and I was a lot quicker to get rid of people that I saw red flags in than I was before. So that's one difference dating before marriage and after marriages. I kind of knew what I was looking for.
Let's stop on the red flags for a second, because you probably dated a little bit after your divorce before you found Kristen, right?
Well, yeah. My kid's mom immediately moved in with someone a week after. So that was really interesting. So I don't know if she dated. But I know for me, I went out and I was like, I'm done with girls. I'm done with this. I'm just going
Fucking dudes.
everyone. I was like, I wanted my fun period. And this is when, I'll be blunt, this is before Bumble, or I think it's Bumble nowadays. Tinder was like brand new. So half the fun was going on there and doing that, like letting your friends do that. Other than that, like going on dates, my profiles, I didn't put my kids on there because I thought people would be intimidated. By,
No, that makes sense.
like seeing a mid-30s guy with 3 kids. Is anyone going to want that? My boy told me, he's like, dude, you are a young executive
You'd be surprised, yeah.
who is responsible enough to have your kids in your life. He's like, don't sell yourself short. I'm like, holy shit. My therapist told me I was a free agent, so I just had fun. And then I started going
Put a bunch of pictures of him with puppies that aren't his. Fucking asshole.
Photoshop shit. But I focused more on the fun, and then after a while, I started realizing I was being more attracted to like other parents, like their priorities and responsibilities were lining up with mine and my goal, like life goals, like you were saying.
That makes sense.
That's what lined up with it for me, and so that's how I end up like with Kristen. Is like she prioritized her daughter over like me, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna prioritize
that's
my kids over
how it
you.
should be. Yeah.
Like it's nothing personal. Like they're the priority, and so it's just, and then from there,
So that's something that took me a while to figure out for myself. So my therapist gave me this advice because I started dating like specific things, just very much in the same red flag category that got me into the place that I was in. And she was like, here's what I want you to do. Here's your homework. And this is probably bad advice for most people, but for me, I needed this advice. Go date 5 people that you would never date.
Yeah, just to see.
Go onto the apps, find those types of people, and maybe at the end of that, you're going to figure out what you actually want in life. It was some of the best advice I was actually ever given.
So fat girls later.
the black dude. All right, I'll see myself out. Sorry for cancel.
Who invited this guy? But I went out and I dated because I was like 30 at the time, and I was dating like 25-year-old girls with
No kids, no responsibilities.
no life experience, nothing like that. Yeah, it was fun.
And you probably needed a little bit of that for yourself too.
Absolutely. But then I went on a date with like a 43-year-old mom of 4, and it really did change my perspective. It
Best
was just
dad you
like,
ever had?
okay.
She had a lot of trouble. All I heard.
No, I felt bad at the end.
I'm even gonna be your son.
Okay.
But best advice I'd ever been given, because I did go out, I did date her, and there were certain qualities about her that I was like, okay, you may not be the person,
Yep.
but now I know what qualities I'm kind of looking for. And then I did that with 5 different girls that I would have never dated. And then I ended up, all right, now I know kind of what I'm looking for. And then I was out searching for that and found it. So that was great. I went into it thinking I don't ever want to date anyone with kids, because I have kids and that's just going to be a mess. Ended up with someone with kids,
Yeah.
you know.
I think your therapist told you to build the perfect girl by doing this. Like I feel like that's like underlining like, oh, I like that left eye. I like that shit. I liked her kids. Wait, what?
Well, don't you think that you go through that phase though too? Like you're being very picky for, no, like again, you're probably not looking for something very serious right after you get out of something that was very serious for so long.
Right.
And you're just like, the way her eye twitches, fuck that.
No, I had one girl that was like, we had a date and I had to cancel to watch my kids, and she was upset about that. I'm all, fuck you.
Exactly.
You'll never be more important than my kids.
Hey, that soon, yeah.
Let it done. Like,
No, we're not. We're gonna argue.
ooh, I don't even know your last name.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That was weird. So a lot of girls would say like I didn't give out that I had kids in my
Yeah.
profile or anything. Like I'd get pretty close into that. Like first
course.
10 messages,
Yeah, of
I'd be like, hey, just so you know.
Just so you know, I got 6 kids, 3 different ladies.
3 of them.
But there's a lot of creepy girls that are like, oh, I could be the stepmom of your kids, and that's
Oh, like immediately?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Before meeting, like, oh, I
Wow.
think I'd be a great stepmom, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah, nope, we're not gonna do
Be a
that.
wife.
that's an ick. That's my ick.
That's a good ick. That's a good ick. I think we talked about icks on our last cast, like icks and things that you would be deal breakers. I think a lot of people have the ick of if you're like rude to wait staff, if you're rude to service people. I'm like, nope.
Oh,
fuck you.
1,000%. Fuck you.
You're done.
Yeah, all my years working at Applebee's, trust me.
As we used to call it the biz, asshole beads.
Got nothing. We just didn't go.
I did actually meet Graham Balfour at Applebee's. Yeah, on Father's Day after he pitched and saved the game.
He went to
came into
fucking Applebee's?
Yep, with his dad.
That's fucking awesome.
And what? We're in
They
Liverpool?
don't pay, dude.
No,
so
not
get to
Dublin.
Applebee's.
Oh, in Dublin.
Yep.
Do that. Awesome. Dude, I was there. Oh, I don't want to change back to baseball. Sorry, I'm just going to go down.
No, go.
So, have you guys ever dated an ex after some time? Like, have you ever gone back to an ex?
Let me think of my NDAs.
I think I've thought about it for sure.
One piece of advice I got told is like, don't bitch about your ex on Facebook, because odds are one of your next partners or your next relationship is someone you already know, or someone you knows them.
It's good advice.
Like Kristen, for example, her closest friend, like cousin, went to high school with me, and then her uncle was a teacher at Dublin High, sort of thing. So it's just one of those like random, like you never know.
Right.
But that being said, kind of circle back to the other point is,
You're saying don't cock block yourself.
yes, exactly. But it's like, yeah, no, I didn't really with exes. No, they're all fucking bleep.
I think probably in my younger years, I probably have revisited relationships. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was, I had a serious thing before my current ex as well, so
Yeah.
there wasn't much time for me to do that. But yeah, I think everybody thinks about what, which is weird because even right now, you probably both have thoughts every now and then of like, oh, I wonder what it would have been like if that was still happening.
Oh.
With your ex. Yeah.
Actually, I have a sister's friend. I can't control for that because people know about it. So,
Yeah.
well, years ago.
And you probably do too, right?
What's that?
Like if things were different and you still had your previous relationship.
I think it's an interesting thing to think about. It's one of those like, there would have had to have been so much different and how
Oh, yeah.
things would have happened. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
I think this may be a hot take. I don't know. I think the goal is to make it work with the one person. And I think that, and I've told this to Taylor, so this isn't going to be first shattering.
So let me
It's
shoot
like-
himself in the foot right here. This is gonna be great, guys.
Doubling in the segment.
Yeah, just shut up and let him really get it out.
In a perfect world, that first person that you have kids with and everything was perfect and everything worked out. But with that said, life is not perfect. People are not perfect.
No.
Things happen and you just have to do whatever you can to make life better and as good as it possibly can be. And sometimes you end up way better off. And that's how I feel. I feel like I'm way better off than where I was.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't feel like that in the start of the divorce. It was just like life is going to suck forever. But, you know, it does for a little bit and then it's not. And that's all the work that you put in. It's the work that you put in to say, I'm going to be better, number one. And number two, I'm looking for better. And if those are your goals and your focuses the whole way through, I think that dating after divorce is fun and good and
Can
can end
be,
up
right?
at a great place.
Well, you
Yeah.
have to meet people that line up with where your mindset's at, maybe. Then your
Yeah.
different mindsets, different like things, common hobbies, interests, blah blah blah. That type of stuff you go find. Doesn't even have to be like you make more friends usually too. You start meeting people again if you're going out to socialize. You're not just meeting females; you're meeting people. Like I made friends.
Right.
Like what? Because again, you go to the same bars, you go to the same spots, you meet
Yeah.
people there, you become connected. Now, do those friendships last when you get into a serious relationship? Not always, but again, it is a possibility.
Depends on how hot they are.
Well, yes.
But for real, that's how me and Joe got as close as we are. Is my divorce, like going through all that shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Him going through that shit and me happening to know his ex-wife even before he did.
Oh, yeah, I was listening to your pod about the first time you guys met. That was actually a funny story. I was like, ooh, that park bench.
Hey, so I'm going there this weekend. I'm taking a picture on the bench.
You gotta lay down there too, just like
Oh my god!
like they were.
I'm gonna hug myself and take a picture from the back. Fucking
I'd like the disclaimer there. Everyone knew it. They're now happy and married. But I was like, but didn't they say they were always married? Like, the thing was just interesting. So I was like, whoa.
yeah. No, it's fun stuff, and that was how I met him. Of course, with him, I'm knowing his ex from years ago.
Yeah.
We worked together at 2 different companies. There is something to be said about people that can go through a bunch of shit and come out and still be, happy, jovial, enjoy your children. I think that a lot of dudes go down the tough and dark road, and sometimes it doesn't turn out that way. They become bitter and sad and, emotional,
Depressed.
depressed. Yeah.
No one to talk to about that.
But
Yeah.
thinking that you can go through that without the depression part that's just unrealistic.
You have to go through that fucking deep valley in order to look at the small peak that you're climbing up and be like, yeah, you know what? This is going to be better. I can make better choices. I know a lot more about what I don't want now than I ever did before in my life.
I think it's a good time to reevaluate. I think we talked a lot about this at the time, which is reevaluating your goals, wants, hopes, and dreams. It's a good reset for you, for anyone. And that's how you should look at it is, okay, from the second forward, what do I want my goals, hopes, wants, and dreams to be?
Yeah.
And don't do anything that takes away from those things. Whatever you do, move to those. Like whatever it is that you do, whoever you date. Go through a hoe phase.
Well,
I
yeah,
recommend that to everyone.
And,
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's a
all-
given.
Yeah,
Damn that.
We all do. I'm not going to deny it. I know my wife did it. Like,
Don't get anyone pregnant.
Yeah.
That's rule 5.
Yeah.
Don't get anyone pregnant. Don't take away from your hopes, wants, dreams, and goals, because that will inhibit it if you do it on stupid terms.
I also think it depends on how your relationship ended. Everyone's relationship ended a little bit
Very true.
different.
Very true.
So you might have had the same ideals, but someone was straight, someone did something like that, or someone stole and did something illegal. I mean,
Yeah.
or it could just very well be we're no longer in love. Like, I mean, with my kid's mom, I was just one day, I want to say 33. And I know it's 2015 because the Warriors won a championship 2 months later. And then the Panthers started off undefeated. It was a great year for me.
They lost the Super Bowl.
Huh?
They lost the I said they
The
lost the
NFL one paid Manny to go out on a high note because Cotchery. Anyways, so I just was like, in 10 years, I don't want to be miserable. I want to be happy. I want to wake up and be happy. And like, life is only so much. Like, not to sound like a hippie, like I only got so much time on this planet. Why do I want to be miserable?
100%.
Or unhappy. And it's nothing against her. I mean, she did turn. Never mind. So like,
It's everything against her. But
I'm totally perfect.
I read this quote that men rest where their peace is. Like if you're not in a peaceful relationship, if that person is not the person that brings you peace, you know, we have to deal with so much in the world. Not to be like fucking masculine bullshit red pill stuff, but
It's 1,000%.
we have to deal with so much in the fucking world, and then to come home and deal with even more from that, it should be your place of peace. And as soon as it's not, you got to reevaluate what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Right.
Even if it's just talking with your partner and making that a more peaceful place to be. But it's got to be peace. It's got to be.
Right. And not to preach here, but at the same time, if you are in a relationship, reset yourself often. Reevaluate yourself all the time. Hey,
sure.
am I being the best that I can be? And
Don't forget to date your partner.
100%.
So I think mine and Kristen's relationship is still strong. Unfortunately, I don't have my kids all the time, but we go do stuff when we don't have them. So we've had that couple times. I don't know how to succeed when I didn't have the couple times, apparently, but I don't know if that's a success. I don't like seeing my kids half the time, but it's working for now.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think a lot of partners, especially that have children together, it becomes about the kids a lot, and they don't tend to work on their relationship. They think that they are because they're both doing the things that make the family run and work. But if you're not dating your partner, if you're not actively doing those little things that matter and impact them, then things get really far apart very quickly.
And it does. Like, you go a month, you can really put yourself back. It does not take long. Everything is hard. Relationships are hard. Marriages are hard.
It's a depressing, deep.
Being single is hard.
Being single is hard.
It's all hard.
Everything's
we
hard.
choose
Life's
our
fucking
hard.
Pick your hard.
We choose our hard.
Um,
And you also choose who to love. Like, love is a choice. You can love a lot of different people. You know, I don't think that one person is meant for one. We've talked about that too. But love is a choice. It's who you choose to go through the ups and downs with. And sometimes you can't anymore. And that's okay too.
Yep.
Make another choice.
Just don't murder anyone.
Yeah, don't murder, don't rape.
Trying to lighten our fuckers. Think about the crowd.
The Helen Keller jokes are still alive from the... Okay, so let us lighten it up a little bit, actually.
Yes.
We like to talk about serious things, too, on here, though. It's not all just fun and games. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's depression and Adderall. But,
And a lot of booze and weed.
yeah, it's always that.
Are legal. Legal.
Don't care if you're doing illegal drugs. Let's go to Switzerland. Okay, so we need to do a joke segment. We have not done one of those in 2 casts. So let's get some jokes out for people to tell. What are you scrolling through? You got something on there?
No, I'm trying to
looking at your
find-
fucking
trying to
text
find
in the
some
middle of
jokes.
a live podcast.
I'm looking up jokes. Listen, fucker. We also have to do a Reddit story. Am I the asshole?
All right, I got a good one that might fit after that. I looked up.
You have an Am I the Asshole?
No. But we should.
Oh yeah,
do
we
one.
need to do that. Okay.
I looked up funny single dad jokes because I felt like that might be a good segment from the core one.
You looked up or you chat GPT'd?
ChatGPT, that's the new Google. I ChatGPT.
All right. Give me some dad jokes.
Okay, this is dumb, but why did the single dad bring a ladder to the bar?
I don't know.
Because he heard the drinks were on the house. That was the dumbest one.
Today on a drive, I decided to go by and visit my childhood home. I asked the people living there if I could come inside because I was feeling nostalgic, but they refused and slammed the door on my face. Fuck my parents.
All right, what is the difference between a condom and a coffin? You come in one and you go in the other.
Why is it that if you donate a kidney, people love you, but if you donate 5, they call the police?
I understand how you get Bob from Robert and Bill from William. But how do you get Dick from Richard? You ask him nicely.
All right. I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why.
I should be wearing my dad joke shirt for that one.
Okay, just because I bought some Girl Scout cookies, I looked those up. Why was the Girl Scout such a great camper? Because she knew how to pitch a tent and sell cookies at the same time. No idea. That sounds very inappropriate, right?
Oh, yes.
Sounds inappropriate.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I don't
I
get it
don't
or
know.
I get it.
I don't know. Yes. Play dumb. That's the best way to get up.
Plausible deniability.
You're looking up Epstein Island jokes?
Just so I bought Girl Scout cookies.
Hey, all right. Since you guys want to have nasty minds, what gets longer when pulled, inserts in a hole, and works best when jerked? A seatbelt.
I was going to guess a golf.
That
Pin.
might have been.
Oh, it's ever soft.
My doctor gave me 1 year to live, so I shot him. The judge gave me 15. Problem solved.
That was good.
I like that. What does an 80-year-old woman's pussy taste like? Depends.
On what job?
Moisture,
I don't get it.
moisture levels.
My grief counselor died. He was so good, I didn't even care. Oh, shit. That's funny. I'm sorry, and I apologize. Mean the same thing, except at a funeral.
Who cooks in a lesbian relationship? No one. They both eat out.
Eat in. Son. Dad, did you get the results of the DNA test back? Dad, call me George.
Okay. I recently came into a bunch of money. It's kind of strange for me. I usually just use a paper towel.
Why does Dr. Pepper come in a can? Because his wife died.
What do you call a masturbating cow? Beef stroganoff.
Beef Stroganoff.
I was drinking a martini, and the waitress screamed, "Does anyone know CPR?" I yelled, "I know the entire alphabet." We all laughed. Well, except for one.
I just watched a documentary on marijuana. I think all documentaries should be watched that way.
That's why I watched the Holocaust once.
Gonorrhea would have been a great name for diarrhea medicine.
It would have been. That's an excellent name.
My boss hates when I shorten his name to Dick, especially because his name's Steve.
Hey, what's white and 14 inches long? Nothing.
Challenge accepted.
I'll never forget my grandfather's last words. Are you still holding the ladder?
Why is diarrhea hereditary? It runs in your genes.
Wife, I want another baby. Husband, that's a relief. I didn't really like this one either.
All right. When 2 people have sex, it's a twosome. When 3 people have sex, it's a threesome. Now I know why people call you handsome.
I'm beautiful and handsome. All right, 2 more of these and let's get to it. Am I the asshole?
Priest asks, do you have any last requests? Murderer sitting in the electric chair. Yes. Can you please hold my hand?
I saw my wife slightly drunk yelling at the TV. Don't go in there. Don't go in the church, you moron. She was watching our wedding video again.
Okay. All right, let's get to a Am I the Asshole? If you haven't heard us do some of these before, it's basically a Reddit and a subreddit that talks about Am I the Asshole? Now, some of these things are made up. I mean, they have to be. Some of the stories are so crazy that they...
AI nowadays.
Yeah, but really, it's about how you react to them anyway, so I don't really care if they're completely made up. Let's see if we can pull one up.
I got one.
Going?
Maybe.
Okay.
I have not read it entirely, just the top part. So I can just give it.
Go.
All right. Am I the asshole for not watching my kids so their father could visit his wife in the hospital?
Hold on. Wait, what?
Am I the asshole for not watching my kids so their father could visit his wife in the hospital?
Okay, got it.
Me and my ex-husband divorced 4 years ago. We have 2 daughters together. My ex-husband remarried a year ago, and I knew that he and his wife were expecting because my daughters told me that they would be getting a sibling. Now this Friday, it was his week to have the girls. He called me and asked if I could please take them earlier. When I asked him why, he told me that he needed to be with his wife at the hospital. I said no, that there is not a reason to disobey the court order, and that he either could stay with the girls, leave the girls with a babysitter, or take them to the hospital with him. I hung up before he could continue. He texted me about 2 hours after telling me this, and that I was extremely sick in the head for that once. Once he was in a situation where he needed help and I refused. His best friend, who was a mutual friend of ours in the divorce, also texted me saying that he hoped I was happy with myself. I don't get how I could be an asshole, but it obviously seems like he and his best friend have come to that conclusion. Am I the asshole? Yes, I will apologize, but firstly, I need to know.
Yeah, you're fucking an asshole.
You bitch.
I mean, okay, so first things first. Not to say that when we all have these situations that go on in our lives where we are co-parenting. So the schedule is the schedule that should be adhered to as much as possible. But we have all had to take over in situations or had to have someone take over in situations where shit comes up. She's fucking pregnant and having a baby possibly?
At the hospital.
She's at the hospital.
What you had?
Oh my God.
About like.
Clearly, you
Right?
guys have not had divorce.
Yeah, that's not. But I'm like, okay, what did he do to her? Yeah, is he like?
Okay, so Joey has another take. Joey would be like, fuck no, I'm not watching our kids while you have another baby. Is that what you would be like?
I'm purposely going to go the opposite route. I believe exactly what you guys are saying, and I would absolutely take the kids. But for the sake of argument, the court order says this. Fuck that dude.
That's the key word in there. I think is a court order because
Yeah.
what else is a part of that? Like, What if his wife is her former best friend and we don't know that part of the story too? There might be that going on. Based on what was read, yeah, asshole. But again, without knowing the full story, she might be like, "Fuck you! You knocked this chick up when we were married." You know, it could be there's so much more that could be going on.
True. And I think you could go either way. You could be the asshole in that situation, or, hey, this is what it is. Why can't you just bring your daughter to the hospital?
Maybe she's at the hospital getting a boob job.
This
Gotta get it before you
No.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, no longer the asshole.
this is why she's the asshole. Your goal with co-parenting and shit should always be what's the benefit for the kids. In this case, she's basically fucking over the kids.
Yeah.
in it, so
Yeah, we have it. We have to go to the other parent in my agreement. I have to go to her and offer her up to watch the kids before I ask anyone else, sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
to go overnight.
She gets the first option.
She's first option, just
Yeah.
because I want that first option. I don't know what the fuck you're bringing these kids to.
Yeah.
So the same idea, putting the kids first, but I had that mindset. But yeah, that's just. I think there's a lot more to that story.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there is. There's always. Everybody has their own backstory, and we're all the main character in this fucked up thing called life. Most of us live through a lot
Simulation.
of tragedy before we go through happiness. So this is why we drink on a podcast. You guys don't know it, but it's 5 o'clock in the morning. We get up early to do these things. You see the sky.
But in reality, we're actually still up from the night before.
We're up for the entire week.
I don't know if you guys have seen this workout guy on TikTok. He's hella funny. I don't know if I can pull up the video even, but he says, on Tuesday we do arms, because if you want to fuck a senorita where she goes diarrhea, then you need to be fucking swole. Like, and each one is,
I know. Is that the bro guy?
he has a big ass black beard.
Yes, bro. It does, like it's bro something like bro lift or bro. I know what you're talking about. You guys fucking hilarious.
If you want to fuck a senorita where she goes diarrhea.
Does he like have a New York accent or Jersey accent?
I don't know. Sort
you're
of.
talking
He's got like it's not his real voice that he's doing that with.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We've talked about AI on this channel before, and there have been some recent developments that, well, two things actually. So one is the FCC has defined AI-generated phone calls as robocalls. So without consent, you can't do those. So they're worried about the upcoming election and the ability to, like, there was a bunch of calls that I guess went out as President Biden's voice and as Trump's voice that weren't them, and they were unsolicited. So they cracked down on that. Now, if you still have permission to contact, like we do with like the other companies and the leads, then you're able to still do it. Or if they call you, you could still have an AI, which is crazy that I can even say this. If you call one of my companies right now, you can have a conversation with an AI bot that is probably smarter than anybody else I can hire.
We use it in my industry too.
It has an entire database full of information. You can talk to it. Then it'll schedule an appointment for you. And then we can have these things that outreach as well. There's also models that can duplicate almost any voice that sings. So now we have fake Drake and all these. There was a Taylor Swift song that came out that you probably hear circulating. That's not Taylor Swift at all. They just stole her voice and did their own thing. So now OpenAI has launched Sora, which is a text-to-video platform, and there's been these before, but this one is crazy advanced. If you see the images and pictures that it makes, it's indiscernible from real life. And so Hollywood's freaking out. I guess Tyler Perry had an $805 million expansion he was going to do for his studio. Decided not to do it right now, pending like what's going to happen with all this AI shit. I use it in my industries. We use it for this podcast. What do you think?
I think it's a great filler. It's not going to really necessarily replace too much, but like, for example, if you go to McDonald's, you pull up through the drive-thru, having an AI talk to you, you might eliminate a job in there. But again, that sort of stuff is then filling the gap, though, to make sure you're getting better service. It's not going to replace the people cooking the food. It's not. Maybe it will one day. I don't know, but That's just
Test this robot. Well,
But again, it's like we've had the Boston Robotics for a minute.
we have, but the Tesla robot's only going to be 24 grand. It's like a fucking small car.
But it's still, to me, it's like fills in the gap. Like, so in my industry, we use it on our websites for chatting and questions, like most any websites out there. So it fills in the gap. It's not replacing the people that,
It's making them more efficient.
yeah, it just fills in the gap sort of thing. And then, of course, it's a cost saving for a lot of places. So that's a big impact
Yeah.
of it. I heard the Bay Area is going to have a huge amount of resources because we're Silicon Valley capital of the world.
We are on the forefront of all this shit, and it's really crazy to even think about how far it's come in a year, right? We've basically not even had a year since ChatGPT was out. It was out in November of 2023. That's fucking nuts, right?
Yep.
And the advancement that it's already come to, and the amount of computing power, and the fact that energy will be at almost net zero in the next couple of years. Very easy to create energy now. The world is going to change significantly. Maybe we will all be just painting. We'll all be painters.
Maybe.
And then they'll take over that too. We'll watch elephants paint. Yeah, maybe we'll just sit back, take mushrooms, have some good barley and hops, smoke some good weed, and expand our minds, man.
Was that you going around the room describing vices, or like?
It wasn't specific to anyone here. It was to the universe. All right, hold on. I want to pivot to something else too. Okay, I love a good bar. I fucking love a great bar. What do you look for in a good bar? Is it a dive bar? Is it a good atmosphere around? Is it the shape of the bar? Is it the drinks that are there? What do you look for in a good bar?
I got an idea, but
No, you take it.
so I actually was in downtown the other day at a restaurant. I was telling my wife about in downtown Mountain View. There was this place that had the Norm Club, and it was a beer place. And so it was like a bar and grill sort of thing, but they had all the beer mugs on the back that had everyone's name that was part of the club. And so I was
We
just
talked about this already.
so to me, I just thought it was, and I've always been looking for that because I'm not gonna be a member of Mountain View. It's fucking for.
There's one in
Hey,
Danville.
hey, don't talk shit. We're talking on our last podcast. We're going.
We're not there, but Danville, there's a place called, what's it? What?
Pete's Brass Rail
And Car Wash.
Car Wash.
I think I remember. I think you told me about that. That's right. Oh gosh.
And there's mugs there. You can buy $50 a year or something like that.
The part two to that would be there's another place that gives pint glasses. Like on Beer Wednesday, you
Yes.
can buy a pint of beer and they give you a pint glass. So
First Street Ale House in Livermore.
Oh,
used to
and you
do
get
that.
to take that pint glass on. Okay, that's cool.
Kristen wanted to go to someplace on Friday night. I'm like, no, they don't give out pint glasses. We'll go next Wednesday. So we went. So that would be kind of me, but that's more the beer and more I'm at in my life. Like I'm not going to bars to socialize too much anymore. So
So kind of the novelty of having your own mug,
Well, you
being
go-
able to take a mug.
go, become comfortable like that. Vibe.
Yeah. But you're still talking to people. You're a gregarious motherfucker. You're definitely talking to people.
I don't go to the bar and drink.
For the purposes of this podcast, he does not.
We signed forms.
I like all kinds of different bars. Just last night I'm embarrassed to say this. We went to a Golden Girls pop-up bar.
That's
Not with the boys. Not with the boys.
Just me and 13 of the hardest dudes I know.
We're doing curls guitar with it.
No, there's this bar called the Fat Pigeon in Livermore, and all it is, they just rotate different pop-ups throughout the year. So during Christmas, it was a Christmas bar. Now it's a Golden Girls bar. They'll rotate it here in about a month or so to a different pop-up. Good drinks. They base the drinks around whatever their theme is for that time.
I love a good Christmas pop-up bar, so I'm into it.
Wine.
Yeah, no, they had Betty White cups. It was hilarious. Betty White cups you were drinking out of.
Did Betty White die?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
R.I.P.
Fuck
But
it.
like speakeasies, like I love experiences. So like a good
Yeah.
speakeasy, a pop-up bar, and then just shitty dive bars. Sunshine Saloon, Pleasant State.
Sunshine Saloon, okay.
Oh,
All right. The Rusty Porthole
The Rusty Portal, yeah.
in Bethel Island. There's some great dive bars out there. Great dive bars.
But it's an experience. I like experience. Like
There's like one dive bar in Livermore downtown. You can still smoke inside.
The R bar.
Is that what it is? Like I know it's right next to
bar.
Jack in the Box.
What do you mean you still smoke outside? Oh, wait.
There's no fucking rules at R bar.
Oh, you can do rails off the fucking...
Probably.
There's some divey fucking places in Livermore.
Okay. I wouldn't have suspected, but we should do a dive bar tour.
Yes.
There's great dive bars everywhere. And I love a good dive bar because they're always going to have terrible karaoke.
Loud.
It's very loud. People that are very confident. I was in Napa like 4 or 5 weeks ago and stumbled into a nice little karaoke place where a bunch of locals came in, and there was like 2 white girls that couldn't sing. There was a couple guys that could kind of sing, and then this Filipino dude that was like 80 got up and just was, "Oh, break my..." Crazy. Like, what the fuck?
That's weird. The audio kind of cut out. Can you try that again?
He's not even wearing Napa.
Yep. So
In the Philippines, they treat karaoke as like a national sport. These motherfuckers. You can go on a Tuesday to a house party and hear Mariah Carey. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us here on Cup of Joe's. We love it when you can stop by and share a cup of Joe with us. Now, make sure you follow me on all social channels. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, Muntrest, MILF.com, Pornhub, Porn Star.
Finally approved that?
Yeah. But mainly Spotify and YouTube if you want to watch the full pod. Please like, share, follow. It allows us to keep making this great content for you. For Joey and for Jason, who was a special guest today,
thanks, Jason. Thanks for coming on me.
For having me, guys.
we appreciate you. Stop by for another cup of Joe soon. Thanks.
Deuces.
Cool.